Here's chap. Here's Archie's travels, chapter 38, entitled "Cooking on Gas." Pan lids were lifting up and down as vegetables boiled and the kettle whistled on the hob. A big dusty grandfather clock ticked away, and the silver radio played soft classical music to no one in particular. It was a cluttered home, but it was homely. Beryl served up the pie as they tucked in around the table. James' parents asked Dolly lots of questions, and she could feel herself getting a headache. She was quite polite, but after a while James spoke up. Too many questions, he said, and Archie barked loudly in agreement. Dolly didn't mind. They were just being curious, and they told them about Jack, and as soon as they did, she almost regretted it. James' dad, Bill, had a lot to say. I know him, he said. He went to my school. He was a bully then, and he will be a bully now, he said forcefully. We've tried to, said James, but he seems to be everywhere. He's like a bad penny. Beryl echoed. He's like a stick of rock with trouble running all the way through it, she said accurately. They told them of his friendship with the chief inspector, and they weren't surprised. They're all crooks, said Beryl, as she tucked into a shepherd's pie, and Archie's ears were twitching as he ate his pie, taking everything in. Dolly was sure that I was taking everything in just like a spy. Soon it was time to go, and Dolly said her goodbyes, and she and Archie walked out into the snowy night. Luckily, they didn't have far to go, and she looked around nervously, and it was such a relief to get home. The last thought she had before she drifted off to sleep was of how happy she was that she had Archie and James in her life. She felt truly blessed, but it would be the last relaxing sleep she would have for a while. The next day she bounded down the stairs, and she couldn't wait to have breakfast and to see her Archie. Her dad was reading the paper, and her mum was frying up a big breakfast to keep them warm through the day. Tomatoes popped in the pan, and eggs sizzled, and the wonderful aroma filled the house. Ollie could hear her stomach rumbling, and she couldn't wait to tuck in. But first she decided to surprise Archie with a big fat sausage. She crept outside in a dressing gown which was tied tight to offset the winds, and then she marched over to Archie's kennel, marvelling at how deep her boots were sinking in the snow. It was difficult for her to balance the plate, and she put her head inside Archie's kennel to surprise him. But he wasn't there. She dropped the plate in shock, and then she shouted his name. But there was no response, only the high moan of the winds answering her back. Tears fell down her face, and she burst through the front door. Archie's gone, she cried, and her parents ran to comfort her, but it was hopeless. Where can he be? She sobbed into her mum's arms, and it was difficult for them to answer with any kind of clue. There was no footprints around the kennel, and so it was likely that Archie had been gone for a few hours, and he could be miles away, never to return. Unbeknownst to them, Archie was sitting in Jack's caravan. Unfortunately, he wasn't being mistreated, but he was not happy. This will show them, said Jack, and he ducked another chocolate biscuit into his darkening tea. That's right, said the chief constable, who seemed delighted to be committing a crime. It's wonderful to be a criminal for a change, he said, and they both laughed heartily. They were oblivious to Archie sitting there looking sad and lonely in the corner.